There is a good chunk of buildings in the city that will not accept offer letters. Co-signers, guarantors, that's a whole nother kit and caboodle. I'm gonna touch on financial qualification a little bit more in a second. Pets, parking, do you need in-unit laundry? So a building is going to require their current tenants to let them know if they're leaving or staying 60 days before their lease ends. Chicago does not do security deposits. Some landlords might, but in a building you would never have a security deposit. If you're approved, congratulations, all good things. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is everything you're going to need to know if you're moving to Chicago from out of state. I got a DM from somebody asking me to give a full breakdown of everything that somebody needs to know renting an apartment in Chicago when you're moving from out of state. I personally moved here from Arizona, and so I understand how daunting it can be trying to figure all of that out. I am a broker with Compass. I run my team, Moxie. We have worked with thousands of clients from out of state before and know a lot of tips and tricks that might not be super obvious to somebody if you're just trying to figure everything out. First piece of advice for you is to work with a leasing agent. So this is different than literally any other market that I've seen, except for possibly Texas. I think Texas might do it the same as Chicago. Here in Chicago, there are leasing agents where we are not affiliated with specific buildings. We are able to help you look at all of the different buildings in the city and pick the ones that work best for you. Instead of being someone who works for a specific building, my job is to listen to you, hear all of your concerns, hear everything that matters the most to you, and help you find the building that checks the boxes specifically for you. It doesn't matter to me which one you pick. I just get to help you find the right fit. We have so much knowledge from all of the different buildings and all of their different nuances. Every building does things a little bit differently. So it's really important for you to get in touch with a leasing agent before getting started and talk to us about your specific situation. For example, a lot of times when we are working with clients, they may be moving to Chicago for a new job. So they have an offer letter to show as their proof of income. There is a good chunk of buildings in the city that will not accept offer letters. As a leasing agent, I already know that. I can save us the time and make sure that we're not looking at those options because I know that they won't work with you, and I can send you options that I know will. Another one is international clients. Some buildings are super easy and they have a very seamless process. Some buildings, it's still possible, but it's a little bit trickier and harder to figure out, and there may be some additional fees if you don't have credit or a social security number lined up already. Co-signers, guarantors, that's a whole nother kit and caboodle. I'm gonna touch on financial qualification a little bit more in a second. Just know right off the bat, speak to a leasing agent, talk to them about your specific situation because it will be different for you compared to the next person and which buildings would really work best. So you get in touch with a leasing agent, you're gonna hop on a call with one of us and you're gonna talk to us about exactly what's important to you, your move-in date, your must-haves, your budget, the areas you wanna be in. If you don't know, that's totally fine. We can explore a bunch of different ones too. What size apartment are you interested in? So do you want a studio, convertible, 1-bed, 2-bed, 3-bed? Pets, parking, do you need in-unit laundry? Do you want a unit with absolutely no carpet, or is carpet in the bedroom okay? Are you specifically looking for something with floor-to-ceiling windows? Do you specifically want to face south and make sure you get the most natural light throughout the day? This is the conversation you're gonna be having with that leasing agent and making sure that they are all caught up on what exactly you want for your apartment. When it comes to timeline, we are really able to get started 60 days out before your move. You can always get in touch with us earlier than that. We can hop on a call, make sure you have all of your questions answered, make sure you feel good about everything, and then hit the ground running once we hit that 60-day mark. Reason being, a building or a landlord is going to require their current tenants to let them know if they're leaving or staying 60 days before their lease ends. So any further out than that, and we really don't have any availability. We may have a random one-off here and there, people who know that they're not re-signing, somebody knows that they're buying somewhere, or if they are gonna be moving out of state. We'll see that happen every once in a while, but for the bulk of your availability, 60 days is kind of gonna be that sweet spot of when we'll start seeing things moving in for your time frame. When we hit that 60-day mark, what your leasing agent is going to do is pull you options and go through all of the different buildings in the city. At least for me personally, I like to pick out a top 8 to 10 that I think work best. I am checking budget, neighborhood, must-haves, trying to make sure to find things that really work specifically for that person and have a very nice curated list of apartments that I think will work best for them. There are over 1,000 buildings in the city. It is really, really, really overwhelming. And so that is where I can come in, and hearing all of your must-haves and knowing all of these buildings so well, I can really pull out a few. That's gonna be a really good curated little list of ones that I think will work best for you for your move-in time frame. From there, we'll talk through and see what are you liking from this list? Which ones are you feeling more drawn to? Do you have any feedback? Is there anything else we want to explore? If we started off looking at studios, you're looking at them and you're like, you know what? I really want to bump up my budget and do a 1-bed. Awesome, great. I can take that feedback and pull new options. We are not limited to that first list. We can always alter and explore from there. Big question I get asked all the time is, do I need to come into the city in person to find my apartment? I got asked, do most people come and stay in a hotel for a couple of weeks while looking for their apartment before moving in? Typically, no. This isn't what we really see happen. I do have a lot of clients who are out of state who will come in for a weekend. We'll do all of their tours within that weekend. Alternatively, I do a ton of virtual tours. If you guys haven't seen them already, I have a bunch of videos on my channel that are all Chicago apartment hunting videos, specifically the videos that I've taken for my clients' virtual tours at that time. That's basically how this works. If you do virtual tours, what we'll do is either the building will provide videos or I'll provide videos of the specific units that you're interested in. The building will follow up with all of the other information on the amenities, the utilities for that building, any specials they have, pet fees, parking fees, application fees, admin fees, all of the same information that you would have if you toured in person, but they're gonna give it to you virtually. Sometimes buildings will do a Zoom call and we'll go over it on a call together, but a lot of times they'll just send an email. We'll make sure you get all the videos and you and I will hop on a call and talk through it together and see what you think and how you're liking it. So to answer that question, no, you definitely do not need to come in person. You definitely do not need to stay in a hotel for a couple of weeks while you're waiting for your lease to start. That sounds like a huge waste of money and a big pain in the butt in my opinion. Virtual tours are always an option, and if you were wanting to come in and visit and do your tours in person, you absolutely can. Just come out for a weekend or something. Best timing, if you're looking to do that, would be to come out somewhere between 45 to 30 days before you would like your lease to start. Any further out than that, the buildings just are not going to have enough availability, and typically they don't want to hold units very far, and so it can make it a little bit tricky timing wise. They'll want you to start your lease early, and so 40 to 35 is perfectly that sweet spot if you're coming into the city and wanting to tour. Next step, so let's say we go ahead, we tour, whether it's in person or virtual. I'll make sure that you get every piece of information that you need, that all of your questions are answered. Between me or an on-site leasing agent, we can give you all of the information. When you pick a unit that you're going to want to apply for, two different things. So number one, you're going to have an application fee. Application fee is per person per apartment. If there are two occupants living in a one-bedroom apartment, you will each individually pay the application fee. It's roughly $50 to $75 per person. That application fee goes to a background check. So it goes to a third party where they'll run your background check your criminal history, yada, yada, make sure that you are who you say you are and that you're good to go. Separately from that, you will have an admin fee. An admin fee in the city ranges anywhere from like $300 to $700. That is per apartment. So if there's multiple occupants, you still only pay once. That admin fee is kind of what you pay to say like, I am financially serious about this apartment. When you pay that, when you put in your application, it takes the unit off the market. So the unit is no longer available for somebody else to apply for. 9 times out of 10, if you tour a building, whether it's in person or virtual, a building is going to offer you a look and lease special. It can vary quite a bit. Typically it will be where they say, if you apply either 24 or 48 hours after the tour, they will credit you back the admin fee. Sometimes it'll be they'll credit you back the admin fee plus a half-month rent or even a full month rent, or sometimes it'll just be, we'll give you a flat rate of $1,000 credit towards your rent. Whatever it is, there's usually some sort of incentive to get you to sign sooner and then not have to pay that admin fee. So essentially, even though you're paying that money up front, you are just paying for those 1 or 2 application fees and then a little chunk of your rent early. They'll credit that back later. Separately from that, you will need to pay first month's rent before you move in, but it's not due at the time of the application or anything. And very different from other cities, Chicago does not do security deposits. Some landlords might, but in a building, you would never have a security deposit. There's a lot of weird rules around security deposits in Chicago, and will generally never have to do first and last month's rent. Again, rule does not apply for landlords, but for a building, you'll never do first and last month's rent. All you have to pay is that application fee, the admin fee, and then your first month's rent before you move in. It is so much easier than other cities. I have a friend who lived in Philadelphia for her like $2,000 apartment. She had to pay $11,000 up front, and that to me is absolutely mind-blowing. Once your application is in, it takes about 3 to 5 business days in order to hear back. Sometimes we can hear back same day, but sometimes those background checks for absolutely no rhyme or reason take a full 5 business days for us to hear back. But once we do, number one, if you're denied, a building would not straight up deny you. They will likely come back to you and say that we need further income qualification, whether it's a cosigner or something, or they'll ask like, all right, here's what's going on. What can we do to make this work? And they'll see if you have other income that you can share, something along those lines. If you're never able to provide that, you're fully denied. This apartment's just straight up not going to work for you. They will credit that admin fee back. The application fees of like 50 to 75, that does not, because again, it goes to that third party, but that admin fee, you generally would get that back. On the other hand, if you're approved, congratulations, all good things. From that point, you will probably get your lease sent over to you in like the next 2 to 5 business days, maybe longer than that if you're not moving for a little while still, but the building will send you over your lease. From there, we can make sure that you fully understand it, that you have no questions on your lease. They'll also send you over like a welcome packet that tells you how to set set up your utilities. Generally, an apartment will have like a utility package where you'll pay like a set amount of somewhere between $100 and $180 a month for your water, sewer, gas, heat, AC. Sometimes your internet is included in that, and the more expensive ones, and the less expensive ones generally it's not. And then electric is never included in that. So electric you'll set up with ComEd, which is the electric provider in Chicago. Super easy to set up an account with them. You'll be good to go when you move into your apartment. The welcome letter will also give you instructions for move-in, like if you have a moving truck coming, where it can pull in, how to book the freight elevator, so that way the elevator is locked down for you and nobody else is able to use it when you move in. It is a document that has lots and lots of information to make your move-in very, very seamless. These buildings have people move in and move out like almost every single day, and so they have it down to a science. If you're moving from out of state, I do recommend trying to time it, so make sure that you hit your elevator reservation. I feel like I hear this a lot of times from out of state clients. They are driving into the city, they didn't anticipate for the traffic, and they missed their elevator reservation. You're not gonna get fined or anything. It just gets kind of messy because they might not have an elevator at that time anymore. Try and time that out well. But for me personally, when my husband and I first moved to the city, we rented a budget rental truck and drove from Phoenix to Chicago. It was $300 for the whole week. Easiest thing ever. I feel like we got it for a steal. It worked out great for us. And we drove into Chicago, pulled up to that moving dock, moved everything in ourselves, and it was a very, very easy, seamless situation. The buildings had the keys ready to go for us, and we were able to very quickly make Chicago our home. That was so much talking. That was so much information. I also have my JotForm link, so if you are looking to move to Chicago and you want help finding an apartment, I would absolutely love to help you. Fill out that link and we can be in touch. And again, I am here to be able to chat through any of this with you again if you have any other questions or want some clarifying information. Hopefully, this made it a little bit easier for you and you can rest your sweet head at night knowing a little bit more information on what it's like moving to Chicago, especially when moving from out of state. Go check out all my apartment hunting videos. You'll probably find them pretty helpful. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.